week's edition of Drive Facebook Live. I'm Bob Spitz, your host, and with me is Tony Whistler, my co-host. And we've got some special guests today. We have Amber and Kayla from Fuerst Automotive and their coach, Nathan, with us. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Hello.
Now, I love your story, and if for those of you who haven't gone onto our YouTube channel and watched their acceptance speech for being some of our new masters of shop management, you should absolutely do that because I find it very inspirational. And Amber and Kyla, you've got a little bit of a different story. You are a legacy shop. You're second generation of this shop, but neither one of you have come from really the automotive industry. You've got degrees in various things, but yet here you are. And I personally think there's a big advantage to that, to not know anything about cars when you own a shop, because then you're not apt to get into the back, stuck in the back, working on cars when you should be running your business. So tell us all about yourselves. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, like you said, neither of us have any experience working on cars, other than watching our dad do it growing up. We spent a lot of our childhood hanging out at the shop. Prior to coming on with Drive, Dad would do quite a bit of overtime after hours and on the weekends. So Mom would bring us kids up there, and we'd have pizza and hang out and things like that. But yeah, Kayla and I went our separate ways after high school. I chose to go off into the library and information science world. Started working in a hospital library down in downtown Cleveland at one of the big hospital systems. And Kayla got a degree in hospitality management, working at some of the nicer hotels in Cleveland, and then went on to some wedding planning with the national park. Yeah, so no experience in automotive, but like you said, Bob, I think that really probably is a blessing with us stepping in as new owners, because we're not tempted to be in the back. We have our team that handles that aspect of the business.
Right. You're forced to work on the business, never in the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. Now, how much of your formal training, not counting your drive training, which is very formal, but your formal university training, how much of that has translated for you into the business world?
I can say, yeah, especially for me, the hospitality industry, it's all customer service. So, that's what we're geared toward, is the customer service aspect of the workplace. So hotels, weddings, all of it's very client heavy. So for me, all that school, especially hospitality, I had to do business classes, I had to do accounting classes, um, you know, all of the behind the scenes of what happens with those. So when it comes to the business aspect of it and the customer service, I feel as though the hospitality definitely set me up in that way for that.
That's great.
Yeah, I think I did not have to do as many business classes and financial classes. I tried accounting. I thought I was wanting to be an accountant, and I quickly learned I didn't want to be an accountant. So I went the more cultural heritage kind of route. But being in library and information science, I had to work with library patrons. So that was pretty heavy-handed in the customer service. And really just dealing with mass amounts of information and data, which there's a lot of it to be had in owning and operating a business. And I think for both of us too, this is an entirely new venture, and with us going off to college and just putting in the extra work to learn, I think we have proven that we are continual learners, and that's important to us. So this has been a great venture already, because again, it feels like we're back in school and learning something new and exciting.
Well, even with your education background, did you ever have a desire to be entrepreneurs? Like, did you want to work together? And
Yeah, we did. So actually, during COVID is kind of when we had this epiphany that we were going to take over for our parents. But before that, we had discussed actually opening up another business together.
Mm.
And we were talking to a friend who owns several of her own businesses. She owns a few massage chains. So we were talking to her, and she's kind of the one who kind of put a little nugget, there that, hey, have you ever considered, like, what about your parents' shop? It's up, it's functional, you've got a great customer base. You girls would be fantastic at it. And we kind of laughed and we were like, yeah, okay. And then I think both of us, went our separate ways. We went home, and then we kind of came back together and we're like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It just fit.
Yeah. And as a little side note, Kayla and I have worked 3 different jobs.
Yeah.
Like throughout college and stuff together.
Mhm.
And successfully made it through together in those jobs.
Yeah.
So there's been no bickering or anything.
No,
like that.
no.
So we
That's
kind of
great.
knew that we would be able to make this
Yeah.
happen.
Very good.
Well, Nathan, tell us, because working with them has got to be different than working with a technician who now bought a shop.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy, easier. Because like I said, a lot of times one of the hardest things when a technician takes over is not understanding how to run the business side of things. And that's one of the things that we specialize in coming in to do so, and really like the customer service and hospitality and things like that. And Amber and Kayla are both, first of all, just again, their willingness to learn and desire to learn makes it easy, but also to learn and implement. They're like, yeah, I see the value in this. This is going to change things. Let's do it. And so yeah, it's very easy to work with them, and just it's a joy to do so.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're not tech centric.
Hmm.
You don't have to break them out of that head of being tech centric. Because when you own an auto shop, what you're really doing is you're providing a service that solves transportation problems for people. Because, we have a joke at Drive, and that is, a car will stay broken forever and it could care less. Cars don't care.
Yep.
People do. So understanding how to deal with people is the key. Not only your customers, but also your technicians, who can be a handful sometimes.
Hmm.
Right?
Nathan
So-
knows that.
Yeah, Nathan definitely knows that.
Yeah.
So learning that is absolutely vital to the success of owning a business. And I was joking with you guys earlier about listening to your acceptance speech for achieving Masters of Shop Management in such a short time. You did it in a very short period of time, which is very impressive. But from being from the older generation, I felt more inspired than maybe someone from your generation. Go, oh my gosh, there's this next generation who's actually interested in our business and they're willing to take over. Because I want to tell you, your mom and dad are very lucky to have you. Not every shop owner has you,
Mhm.
right? Willing to carry on that legacy.
Well,
Yeah.
originally our brother was, scheduled to take over. He had been working as a tech with my parents for about 10 years. And then all of a sudden he decided he had no wife, no house, no kids, so really no ties. He wanted to experience living in Florida. So he took off to Florida, and then my parents lost their exit plan and were kind of scrambling to figure out what to do because they wanted to make sure that their employees, that our team was taken care of and they wouldn't lose their jobs and things like that. And so then it was kind of just the sweet spot in timing where Kayla and I had these discussions and we decided to step in. So yeah, so there was a brief period of time where my parents really had no idea what they were going to do.
Yeah.
And kind of were a little bit in panic mode.
Yeah.
So
That's a beautiful contingency.
yeah. Right.
Yeah. So who approached who? Did you approach your parents, or did your parents approach you?
No, we approached them.
We sat them down at dinner one night. We, of course, at their house, so we didn't have to do the cooking. But we sat them down at dinner, and we said, hey, instead of going this other route of opening our own business, we would like to come in and take over the shop and, let you guys retire your way. So
They were shocked.
they were very shocked.
Now,
I'm
I
sure
heard-
they were pleasantly shocked.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, a little bit of a shift. I just had a quick question. Are you guys servicing electric vehicles now?
We are, yeah. So my dad, who has also been a big, proponent of continuing education, he consistently stays up on whole certifications and kind of just stays ahead of trends and things like that. So he's been going through EV training on his own and has full intention to, kind of let that trickle down into the rest of the team. So we've actually put out advertisements in the local paper, put it up on our website, that we are now servicing EVs. We have a new scanner specifically for EVs. We're looking into having a charging station installed. So yeah, we're getting on board with it. I will say here in Cleveland, Ohio, it's not a huge, we don't see like a huge amount of them quite yet, but they're
Well,
definitely.
nobody outside of San Francisco and Los Angeles are seeing it.
Right.
But-
Yeah, I was gonna say our California shops are envious. They're like, "What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you guys
So
doing?"
I'm gonna put my consulting hat on for a minute here, and do you have a separate labor rate for EVs set up and established?
Oh, good question. Not yet.
And then the reason I asked is I was just actually talking to some of my service advisors at my old dealership, and we were talking about the labor rates and increasing. They're like, yeah, here's where we're at. And it's like, and our electric one is even higher and higher. I'm like, and it brought my head, it's like, that's right. There's a separate. So that may be something to consider. Well, and maybe we'll talk about that at next time of having a different labor rate, because like you said, it's a different level of skills and equipment that's more so than others too, to be able to work on electric vehicles.
Right, and a different kind of level of safety precautions
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm
Mhm.
glad you
Yeah.
brought that up, because that's been my main concern with shops taking on EVs, is knowing all the PPE that's involved, the personal protection equipment, and understanding that you can't tinker with an EV like you would an ICE engine. You can't just go in there and start poking around. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Seriously. By the way, Dennis Goodall says hello. He's watching.
hi, Dennis.
Hi.
And let me see. He had something else here. He says that AVI has a great certification course for EVs.
ABI.
AVI.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay.
So you can write that down.
Thank
So I'm
you.
glad your dad is staying almost like a technical advisor for your back,
Yeah.
Yes.
because that's a great resource for you
Yes.
as
Yeah.
shop owners.
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
talk, let's talk a little bit about your dad, because I want to talk about him a little bit.
Sure.
One of the things that we always tell our clients, that when they're ready for a true succession, which sounds like he has really knocked this one out of the park. So you got it. There's one thing you have to do. You got to have something else that interests you that you can do, so you're not always wandering back into the shop if you're not needed there. Now, if you're a consultant, or you're actually, which it sounds like he's doing a great job with you guys on that, consulting and being like the, what I would say, the oracle or whatever for the shop. But you got to have something else to do. And he came and spoke to me at the expo, and he is very, very interested in helping drive and instructing for drive. And this is one of the most exciting conversations I've had in a long time. We have some great instructors who are shop owners, and we're building a phenomenal team. And he is just going to be one more phenomenal piece. It's amazing that we were going to have about 6 or 7 people who are just all stellar shop owners and incredibly intelligent and very helpful and want to help the industry. And he's just going to be one more like that. It's like it's going to be exciting. And I heard he's on vacation right now, but we're going to try to get him going in August. So, but anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So he is going to be a phenomenal fit to my team. Sorry to take it off the rails a little bit there, Bob.
Very.
That's fine.
He's
This
very
is always open forum, as you know,
Yes.
Tony. We just kind of wander around. Oh, by the
Exactly.
way, Zach in Hawaii says hi.
Oh, there you go.
Starbucks. Yeah, he's watching. Now, one of the things, did you actually create a formal partnership agreement between the two of you?
So we are not yet. We're in the process of working with some attorneys. We have hired a new accountant. So our parents are working with some attorneys to get all of those documents drafted up.
So
Good.
the legal, because we're going to be their retirement plan too.
Right.
So, we'll be paying, they do own the dirt that the shop is on, which is phenomenal. So we'll essentially be paying them rent, which will fund their retirement partially. So we kind of have to get all those T's crossed and I's dotted. But like Kayla said, there's a couple attorneys in place to help with that. The business has been assessed by a professional, so that's been done, and then we have a new accountant. So we have a team helping all four of us along the way to succession.
Excellent, excellent. So how have you two divvied up the hats in the shop so that you're not in each other's hair?
It was really easy, actually. I mean, just based on our backgrounds alone. Like I said, I've always been customer service heavily focused. And I just love in my spare time tinkering around and doing like creative artsy stuff. So the marketing, the customer service, we kind of said that would just fall to me. And then the like operations, the back shop operations, all of that would kind of fall to Amber. We'll obviously be training in each other's roles. That way, if she goes on vacation, I can step in and vice versa. But it just kind of naturally felt like that. That's just how we are.
Yeah, our personalities meshed like that.
Yeah.
Where we kind of just naturally gravitated to a few different roles.
Yep.
So you're getting your early wish, Amber, and getting back into accounting?
Yes. I'm trying to kind of ignore that.
Yeah.
that thought,
Just become great friends with Chris at Probst.
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
Chris
Bill's
Probst,
Crestmore.
rather, at Bill Crestmore.
Bill's Crestmore, yeah.
And
No,
she'll take care of
funny
you.
though, because I definitely learned very early on that I did not want to be an accountant, but now that it's coming down to like our own business, it's kind of like I need to know, because I want to know like where the business is at in every aspect, and kind of know from start to finish where the money starts and ends. So I definitely have a different mindset. I'm not doing accounting for anyone else.
Right.
So,
Those numbers are much more interesting when they're your numbers.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't ever want to be in a position where an accountant is telling you things that you don't understand.
Right. And
Yep.
it's actually cool. Our new accountant is going to be helping to train us in some of the business accounting.
Fantastic.
So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And just kind of, they're going to help us dive into QuickBooks a little bit more and really learn how to use it efficiently. So we're excited about that too.
Yeah. I think one of the beauties of drive training is the fact that it's applicable immediately to what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not theoretical. It's
Right.
not, I wonder how this will work in the real world.
Or 10 years from now.
Or 10 years from now. It's, oh, I can go do this right now. Right. And then if you have a question about how it really applies to you, that's where your coach comes in. Right.
Yep.
To have somebody in your corner going, well, let's look at it this way. And especially when it comes to, because you're also taking over HR, right, Amber?
Yeah. You have to go to Kayla still.
Yeah. I'll be helping with that too. I sometimes do the books for mom. Like right now they're on vacation, so I'm here, doing the books and payroll and the accounting stuff. So
But
have you guys done any of the lineup for the financial workshops that we're delivering now?
working on it.
yeah, I did. Oh gosh, I just had a baby in January, so prior to that, I crammed in a bunch of master workshops.
Good.
Got them out of the way, and so one of them was the financial one that I took with Chris. I wasn't able to make this round of them, but I do fully intend on getting back into the financial ones because that's going to be a heavy hitter for me, as we know.
Well, Drive is very blessed to have Chris on board because she knows accounting and she knows how it applies to an auto shop.
Yep.
Yeah, the first workshop that I took with her back in the fall was really, really great. So,
Very nice.
Yep.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Nathan, where are you taking these two next?
So we're already working on Master Elite for next year. And then again, like the big difference between Master and Master Elite is obviously continuing education, some additional Masters workshops, a higher level of net profit coming to the owners in compensation and what's left over. And I think you guys are already really close to that mark anyway. But the other big thing is as part of Masters, you get an on-site inspection. Where somebody from Drive actually comes out to the shop and spends the whole day there interviewing employees and talking with everybody and like looking at all the different areas. You get this report, it's like 10, 11 pages with a list of like things like this is just observations of things that are gone well, and some things like here's some things that could be improved on. And so we're already digging into, we're what 3 weeks after the expo, we're already digging into addressing and making changes on some of those things that are like, oh, like this is a small thing, let's do this, and divvying up that list and assigning, okay, Kayla's responsible for these and Amber's responsible for these, and Rick, who's the general manager, is going to be responsible for these things, and really kind of tackling that list to continue to further hone in making everything run exactly as it needs to be.
Well, just let me know when you want to schedule that on-site inspection, Nathan.
They already
Get in-
had one though.
Yeah,
you did. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
because
right.
they-
you
they're
did.
masters.
Yeah,
That's correct. So now you have to finish
Gotta
the
get all
list.
those points in place.
Yep.
Yep,
Yes.
because that's one of the characteristics for Master Elite is that you've had the inspection, if you started to implement and make those changes from
Right.
the on-site inspection.
Right. I'm sorry. I was a little confused there for a moment.
Welcome
Yep.
to come hang out, Tony, if you want. You can come hang out with us anyway.
I would love to come hang out with you guys. I would love to come.
Top dog too, so.
Come hang out with her.
And we'll do a remote workshop in your shop. Or yeah, we'll do a remote workshop in your shop.
Yeah, were you there when was it Jim Saley who did your inspection?
Mark.
Mark Bag.
Oh, Mark did it.
Yep.
Yeah. And what did you think of the inspection and the report?
Oh, it was great. I really liked how everything was kind of organized by like, the front office, the bays, production. So it was like really categorized nicely to where it was very easy. We got a long list of things that need some improvement. And like Nathan said, some of them are very small, like just like throwing some awards on the wall that we've won to like showcase in our front office. That's something that we can do, pretty easily. And then there's some bigger like production process kind of things. So with this long list, it initially felt a little bit overwhelming, but then because they're categorized, we were able to like kind of compartmentalize, like, okay, this is what takes priority. This is what can be, we can wait on this a little bit. This isn't dire, things like that. But it was very thorough. And like, even some of, like I mentioned, like the awards in the front office, like some of these things that were more aesthetic that, and I think in one of the workshops, someone talked about kind of being like blind to these things that you just see every
All the
day,
time.
you end up not seeing them kind of thing. And so some of those things that like Mark pointed out, it's like, oh yeah, you're right. Like,
We
this
should put
probably
those up
isn't-
on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And it just enhances the customer experience too.
yeah, exactly. So it was really eye-opening, in all the best ways. I mean, there was nothing on there where Kayla and I were like
Oh my God,
offended
yeah.
or insulted.
No.
It was just kind of like, yeah, that's a good point. We should probably make that change. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
well worth it. It was fantastic.
So was removing the starter as the door stop, was that one of the things that was on the list?
We have we have used some heavy parts to open the door periodically in the summer. So we'll be sure to not do that anymore.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, I love that on-site inspection program. We started it a long time ago, and we're very particular about who can actually be an inspector for Drive. And I'm hoping your dad joins that group, because it takes someone who really understands what a shop should look like, who comes from a successful shop environment, and who's got the intelligence to write up those reports and without offending and accusing or making people feel bad. You know, it's an art form.
Oh, absolutely. And Jim's team is great, and I would love to have Bob on that team. I would
Yeah.
love to have him on that team.
Because then we'd have Bob in the Midwest. We got Jim on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, and but Mark's also on the East Coast. Well, Jim's all over the country.
But I'd like to, and there's a couple guys I have in mind for the West Coast too, which would be great. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's all very good. And the next point that I had that I wanted to ask you just went right out of my head. Just
You want to take a station break there, Bob?
you know what? Maybe it is time for a station break. Go ahead, Tony.
Next week, we have Alex and Bob from Wicked File, Supercharger Shops Bookkeeping with AI. And that's who it's going to be. There'll be more about that as we go forward through the week, but that's what I have for next week. Alex and Bob from Wicked File.
All right. Well, that sounds great. It almost came back. It was just there. And
Just is
bam,
flying around.
gone again. Well, I want to wish you two nothing but success and your continued success, and you're very impressive, and I'm so glad you're Drive clients. And Jenna John posted. I guess invited Bob to lunch next. Oh, that's something different. I'm reading these little notes that are coming up from Carolyn as we go along. So I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure. And once again, I'm so happy that you are part of the Drive family. And you've got a great coach in Nathan. And we'll see you at your Master Elite presentation. Yeah?
That'll be great.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
us. Appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. Nathan, any last thoughts?
No, like I said, like they're fantastic to work with, easy to work with, and even just seeing from when I first started at Drive, I think Amber and it was one of the first people I started working with, just like how much has already changed and grown from then to now has just been amazing, even in seeing that too. So I love it. I love being a part of it.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you.
Very cool.
All right. Well,
Okay.
from all of us at Drive and Drive Facebook Live, I want to thank you all for being here today, and I hope you have a great weekend. Until
See you guys.
next time, so long.
Goodbye.